Are you ready today for another parallel barking?
Woof, 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 woof.
This one's really fun because
Hello, fans out there, and thank you for sticking with us. We hope that we can be more entertaining today, and we'll still have some fun and maybe learn a little bit. I always learn a little bit from you, my little barky dog.
we're always entertaining. But
Well,
this one's
that's
real
you.
good.
Says you. That's like looking at a mirror and say, yeah, I love myself.
Yeah.
Mirror's gonna break one day.
All right. I
All right,
love
what's
this
on tap
because
today?
it's toilet humor, and I always love toilet humor.
Wait a minute. Wait, I object.
Yay!
Why do you
That's
limit
even
this to the toilet?
better.
Wait, no, why do you limit this to the, I know what's coming up. So
Oh,
I'm objecting to your limiting it to the toilet because
you're
you're
right.
ghettoizing this thing.
You're right. Absolutely. Because farts happen everywhere, don't
Well, now
they?
you've given it away. So what are we talking about, little dog?
Okay. So
My pup?
a Brazilian singer, Pocah, was hospitalized. And do you all know why? Do you want to know why? I'm sure you all do.
No, we do not want to know why. That's why we tuned in. All right,
She
so
was
tell us why.
ashamed. It was for shame. She was hospitalized for shame.
Shame is very painful.
It
Do they
is.
have a drug for it? Oh, I'm sure they have plenty of drugs, but they go to the psychiatric hospital. But anyway, so why was she ashamed?
She refused. Well, she held in all of her farts and refused to let them rip in front of her beloved boyfriend for so long that they created a giant pain in her stomach that she thought
All right, so wait. I got to stop you here. I'm confused. So she's farting everywhere else and on everyone else. It's just her boyfriend, right? So I don't understand why, if she's accumulating all these farts, she just can't say, excuse me, honey, and go out to the balcony, rip a few, and then come back so that she doesn't have to fart in front of the boyfriend. Or
okay,
she goes to work and just lays it on her coworkers.
I get it, because if you move, you could, it could be like an earthquake, and just any sudden movements could let it.
But she sounds like she has extraordinary control over
obviously
the
you've got to have
house here.
Really good muscles. She is obviously in shape, so that abdomen, where all the severe pain,
be in shape in one part, and she'd be flabby everywhere. All right. So I'll buy that. So for some reason, she was able to do this so that even though she's not with her boyfriend 24/7, just holding it in, and I'm assuming that she's ripping left and right when she's not with her boyfriend, but near or around her boyfriend, then she kind of stops herself up, and then it ultimately causes her, it just accumulates somehow, and I still don't understand how, and she winds up with extraordinary pains in the hospital.
Yes.
So how did they relieve in the hospital? So how did they relieve her pain?
Oh man, I don't know. I would imagine it would be something like an enema, but they did not go into that.
But it's a fart. I didn't know farts had substance. I mean, you can have greasy farts, I guess, but I thought it was just gas. What do you need an enema for gas for?
How would you do it? Why don't you call your brother?
I would do it. This is our second story. I would do it the way that other lady did. I would get a bunch of bottles.
Yes.
So this is our second story. We'd get a bunch of bottles, and I would then decant my painful farts into the bottle and then sell them, which is the next story. Where's that story from?
This story was actually, the story that I'm reading was published January 5th of this year. It's about the former 90 Day Fiance star who went viral after she began selling her jarred farts.
But from where?
Well, it was a website similar to OnlyFans, and it's called Unfiltered.
Without any sense of irony, I guess. Right, but where's this fart factory living?
In her house.
Yes, but where's the house located on Earth? I'm assuming.
I don't know. That's usually not something that
is of concern.
Well, right. It would be concerning if she gave that away to people.
All right, so manga friends.
This is hilarious.
All right, go ahead.
she was convinced she was experiencing a heart attack. Okay, that's not hilarious. That's not hilarious. Doctors were able to determine that the symptoms were actually caused by excess gas from her frequent diet of beans, eggs, and banana protein shakes.
I've been eating beans every day of my life since I was born. I guess it's her own condition or predisposition to, or her relationship with beans.
So
She
if
needs
you
to have a
ever
heart to
think that you
heart.
have a heart attack,
Yeah. Well, she needs to have a heart to heart with her beans. She and her beans have to go see a therapist to talk about their dysfunctional relationship.
how hard were you farting in those jars to
Well, the
have
question is, how do you
shooting
capture it
chest
all?
pains?
Well,
Wait, what was your question?
I can understand the chest pain though, because if you get really bad gas, you have no idea where it's going to manifest. So it can feel like anywhere. And then certainly if you're not a doctor and you're feeling the reverberations of pain, you can feel in a bunch of places. So, give her a pass for that. All right. But I got a thing, manga fans. Would it be possible to combine these two stories and make a great illustrated book about a woman whose fear of farting in front of her boyfriend caused pain? She meets up with a doctor on her, what was this porno site thing called, OnlyFriends? She meets up
OnlyFans.
with, right, OnlyFans, and they discover that the best way to relieve herself of this, not only the guilt, but the pain, is to find a way of putting in some kind of device that then forces the gas out into bottles,
And you can hide the farts.
And the way she does it, all of those, and because this is actually being done by some Numi, some spirit, that each of those bottles of gas will have different supernatural powers. So if she's in a bad mood when she is creating her
God, yes,
factory,
healing powers.
and she opens it up, then bad things come out, or healing, or right after she's had intimate but positive relations with her boyfriend, then that would be a love potion of some kind. Could you imagine how wonderful it would be to do an entire illustrated book on this?
This would be fabulous. What if she accidentally poops? Oh,
Is it good for your skin?
you're speechless. Like a mud mask, I guess.
Sort
You're
of.
disgusting, Ted. Disgusting.
Well, in the language of commerce, if there's a market for it, ought you to be disgusted, or ought you to be worried about appropriate pricing and regulatory
I'm excited about
protections for safety and
the
health?
prospect. You're absolutely right.
Right, about writing the manga?
Well, of all the things.
Fans, we want to see illustrations. This is just wonderful. These stories really are related.
Action figures. We could have like
It combines everything.
jar action
It combines
figures.
globalization. It combines global production. It's a wonderful story about the way in which our bodies are themselves factories, just like the way in which we've created we've remapped the world as a series of factories. And it's tied to the supernatural, because at some point,
modify our bodies.
These are pollution monsters. Remember the old Godzilla versus the smog monster, or the sludge monster?
All the monsters.
The first of the environmental monsters in I forget, I guess it was in Tokyo Bay. Right. The possibilities are endless. So these two people are just terrific metaphors for everything that we're trying, including the regulatory environment, because she's now trying, there's market failure here. She's trying desperately to control her own fart, but she's going to need the intervention of another party, right? Is it the same? Oh, by the way, so I got a question for you.
Okay.
Where's her boyfriend fit into all of this?
I'm wondering this as well. Did he not encourage her to fart in front of him? His name is Ronan Souza.
The boyfriend? Also, they identified him.
Yes, they did. And they didn't actually mention any of his.
Well, she was being selfish, because she never asked him whether he got off on her all of her body, including all of her body functioning. And so she may be depriving him. Maybe this is her way of punishing him by denying him her farts.
Maybe she knew the entire time that he got off on farts and he
This
was a
is,
bad
yeah.
boy. Mhm.
Well, he really should have cleaned up in the apartment better or negotiated whatever it was that they needed to negotiate. So what's the aftermath of this story? So she goes to the hospital. They release her pressure, I guess, which is what they'd have to
They
do.
did. And
But
she let her fan base know that she was fine by saying that she woke up at 5:30 a.m. with severe stomach pains and ended up in the hospital, but she's fine because it was just an accumulation of trapped farts. But she did leave it with a PSA message saying, "Girls, don't be ashamed to fart in front of your guy. Because what's really embarrassing is not letting your guy sleep because you're in discomfort, going to the hospital with your guy, and the diagnosis being trapped farts."
all right, so now I got a bunch of questions for you. I believe her. So here's my question for you, little pup. All right. What about, so now she's given us permission to fart in front of her boyfriend. What about at a dinner party?
See, then you have to gauge.
Well, no. What about a dinner party?
I'm telling you, you have to gauge
What about at a meeting with your boss? What about on the subway?
volume. Oh, subway, totally. You could blame it on somebody else.
But I'd rather do it in front of my boss than on the subway, because on the subway I might get knifed by someone who's irritated because they don't like the odor.
I don't know about that, because when you're with your boss, it's like your boss knows it was you. There's no second guessing. I mean, unless you don't care, unless you really want to crop dust your
which is why that you should always have another person with you in the office with your
This
boss.
is exactly right. You always want to leave some crumb of doubt in their mind.
Or maybe she really should go into business and bottle this.
Bottle the
On the other hand, both this person and the person who is bottling or purportedly bottling her farts have gotten exactly what they wanted. Everyone is talking about this.
I mean, farts are fun, but she will let them rip now.
All right, so why are farts fun?
I mean, they make great noises. Check this out.
That's pretty good, but there's no odorama, so I can't get the full effect.
That they need to create smell-o-vision. I'm sure other people have thought about that before. I'm not saying I'm into farts, y'all, but I might be.
Oh my God. Well, then we'll have to have some kind of market-based mechanism to exploit this thing of yours.
They, as in those people out there, sell used dirty underoos.
Yeah, but that's a different podcast. I want to stick to the gas.
Oh,
It's just very interesting for me how the gas really is, and in this case, body gas is an incredibly unifying force, and it does everything from focusing on male-female intimate relations to the social construction of a person's body within social space, things that you can't do, because it's like sweating profusely or having the underarm sweat show up in your each of these things are just body products that then cause really weird societal relations. And then the two extremes: on the one hand you try to suppress it, and on the other hand you try to market it and make some money. In both cases you wind up getting something of value. The singer person wound up getting a tremendous amount of free publicity, and the person who's on OnlyFans was probably able to consolidate her fan base with or without the odorama. but it's the odor thing, the essence of the olfactory that is just really interesting.
It
But what
offends.
happens? Right, but we're only looking, but I want to take up a strand that you mentioned that we kind of dropped. But let's talk about this. So you mentioned hybrids, right? What if it's not, because farts never exist alone, right?
Yeah, you're right.
What happens if it's like you said, a messy fart?
A messy fart.
Or what happens, the connection between farts and food? You mentioned that with the
They smell
person,
different. And that's the thing about the jarred farts. Like if
right?
she had
But
eaten other foods, I mean, she could probably get
why are you
requests.
agreeing? Merely because they believe that that's the case. Why are you being so cruel to beans? I'm here to
I'm saying
defend
you could eat
beans.
lilacs and fruit and just fruit for a week, and your farts would smell very different if you ate meat.
Oh, so this is like honey, depending on what you eat, you'll produce different tasting or smelling
I'm
things.
thinking, but we could research this, but I'm thinking
I
that is
mean, you
my
can research
hypothesis.
this. I mean, you can research this. No, yeah, farts don't exist alone. And it's interesting to see how all of this then again ties up together. But it's also to some extent, not to some people it's funny, to some people it's horrifying. But gas has, and it doesn't matter what society you're in, the ability of the body to produce things is just interesting, and yet is very different than if what she was afraid of doing was defecating or urinating. That would be a completely different conversation and vibe,
Well,
right?
exactly, because
Or puking,
it's different for everybody.
or
Some people
blowing your
enjoy
nose,
it.
or blowing your nose. And so now we've got excretia. All right, so we move from farts to excretia. What makes farts different? Besides the fact that they're different, but what account, besides their own physical difference, what accounts for the substantially different social reaction to snot, tears, excretia, or urine, or
On the
sweat?
fringes of
Or
society.
sweat. These are all things that are produced by the body. We tend to view sweat as a positive, depending on the context, right? We have lots of athletes who show their prowess. Sweat becomes a kind of semiotic affirmation of their prowess, right? The way a pen works the same way for a scholar, sweat for the athlete. So that kind of body excretion is a positive, or when you're sweating at work, you're really concentrating. So that's a positive object, like a pen or a ball. Tears are an indicator thing. You're either happy or sad. It's an emotional metaphor, but again, from positive to benign, those are fine. Snot is different, right? Snot or spit. Spit is either medicinal or a sign of disrespect, right? Or an insult. Snot is to some extent the same thing, or viewed as gross, right? Depending on how or why you do it, or an indication of illness.
Is it because it comes from some sort of orifice, do you think?
Or your mouth, you kiss your mouth.
Well, I know, but is that why you think these things are offensive?
Or your
Just
skin.
gutturally offensive?
Well, I I have no idea. I just note that. And so when you've got all of these, you have this village of bodily excretions. This is like the old Aesop story, the heart and the lungs and the liver all come together and say, well, we're having a town hall meetings and we want to figure out which of us should run the community of organs, right? And they all vote. And this is why this goes back to this. And they all vote and they think it's the brain or the heart or the lungs. And finally, it is the sphincter that says, well, I'm the one who should be made the king. And they go, oh, you must be kidding. You're disgusting. And then he went on strike and the entire body became ill. And in desperation, they all agreed to vote this person, this body part. I don't know if it's stuff, but this is, one of the things. So, and again, this is an ironic storytelling, but it may well be the way in which we view, we have, sorry, I'm going to do this to you, the way in which we culturally construct bodily excrement in the form of sweat, tears, snot, spit, urine, and we haven't even gotten to the sex ones, right?
Well, that's what I
Sperm.
was thinking you
Yeah.
were going for when you started talking about this. I was like, are we going to start talking about
No, because that's
semen?
distracting. No, that's distracting because then all you're thinking about is sex, where we can get to the same point without making it, without this overlayment of sex, although it's there too. So,
It's there.
It's there.
Definitely.
So I don't know. So my hat's off to the singer person. All right.
Yes, I mean, like that. I'm jealous. I am jealous that 90 Day Fiance made that much cash off of her farts. And apparently people fart 14 times a day. So
counted?
if someone swears they don't fart.
Have you counted?
No. This is on average from
the internet. It must be true.
From the interwebs. No, this is actually from the article where.
Right. No, I know. There's probably some government agency spent a tremendous amount of money on an academic who then hired 3 or 4 postdocs, who then spent the greater part of several months sitting and helping to authoritatively count the number of farts that a group would produce.
What a wonderful study to be a part of.
I'm telling you, I'm in the wrong end of the academic business.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting way to spend one's days. You come home, hi honey, how was your day? Oh, it was quiet.
What's that smell?
All right, so 14 times a day. All right, but it appears that you can control it.
To the detriment of the rest of your body, yes.
On the other hand, but now let's think about it from a much more administrative way. And then I think we've beaten this
yes, then we're done.
But here, so I wonder if you can control it, because you have to fart 14 times a day, but it doesn't mean that you can't manage when those 14 times occur. So I wonder what would happen if you were able to monitor, and if we're not that far away from being able to insert some kind of device in you that monitors, that tracks your farts, that we will penalize you, a civil fine for farting at particular times and places.
Dear, no. Why did you even put that out into the ether? Now somebody's going to start working on that and building it.
How do you know they haven't already done it? If you can implant something to monitor body function, why is that limited? The possibilities. I don't know.
People will get a spanking every time.
I don't know if you have the tech yet, but why not? But if you have the tech and you can monitor, this is my last point. If you have the tech and you can monitor, you can also manage, because you can manage this. If you can count it, you can then create a system of punishments and rewards based on when and how you want people to fart. Which means that it's not the Brazilian person and her boyfriend who's at the front of the curve. It's the lady who decided that she was going to exploit this. She is merely one step ahead of the state, who might, for reasons that are well beyond me, decide that this is a great object of management and we have the capacity to do it.
I think that's scary as shit.
Another manga, another illustrated book story.
I know.
Where are my manganites when I need them? Now I've given you 2 great storylines that can go up on, these are like hour-long movies.
We will get to it. I'm going to reach out to all our listeners all
Right.
of our listeners.
So I think that's all the gas we have for today.
Yeah, we're full of it, but I
All
think
right.
we blew it out.
Well, thank you very much, and bow wow.
And yep, yep. See you next time, everyone.
All right, bye.